ineligible. But there's more to it. The move has sparked a fiery political battle, with the opposition calling it a threat to voter rights, and the ruling BJP is defending it as a vital step for electoral integrity. So what does this revision exactly mean for Bihar's 8 crore voters? Well, this is the first exercise of its kind in Bihar since 2003. The Election Commission says the revision is crucial due to migration, urbanization, unreported deaths, and concerns surrounding duplicate and illegal entries, including foreign nationals. Now here's the twist. Under the law, voters must be registered where they ordinarily reside, not where they just own property. And now this hints Bihar's migrant population hard, who still vote in their home constituencies but live elsewhere. Now, while the intent behind the move could be noble, its execution has raised some serious questions about its impact. So let's understand the pros and the cons of this move. The Election Commission's special intensive revision in Bihar aims to clean voter rolls by removing duplicates and deceased names, boosting transparency and curbing fake voting. It encourages registration at one's actual residence, with parties allowed to flag errors. But concerns remain with 8 crore voters. There's a risk of genuine exclusion, especially migrants, the poor and PWDs. The opposition alleges political misuse and flood-hit areas may face major logistical hurdles. Now, at the core of these cons is a document mandate for 2.93 crore voters missing from the 2003 rolls. But with each document tied to Bihar's harsh socio-economic realities, access and eligibility are anything but straightforward. Now, let's look at how this is being played out politically. The Congress and the other India bloc parties have slammed the move. They allege that this is not a revision but a reset of the voter list, and that one could deliberately exclude genuine voters using the power of the state. Tejasvi Yadav of the RJD has called it a conspiracy, asking how such a massive exercise can be completed in under 25 days, especially when floods have hit over 70% of the state.
अभी आप सबको पता है, सचेत कीजिएगा गांव में लोगों को। ये लोग पहले गरीबों को, जो लालू जी कहते हैं, वोट का राज मतलब शोक का राज, लोकतंत्र संविधान में हमको जो ताकत दी है उसको ये लोग छीनना चाहते, वोट का अधिकार छीनना चाहते, कटवाना चाहते। जरा सचेत रहिएगा, अपना अपना बूथ पे रहिएगा ना, किसी गरीब का वोट ना कटे और किसी फतुआ का जुड़े ना।
Now, the India bloc will take to streets on 9th July by participating in the Bharat Bandh called by the left parties over Election Commission's decision. Now, while the Association of Democratic Reforms, ADR, a non-governmental organization, has approached the Supreme Court questioning the manner and the timing of Election Commission's decision. On the other hand, the BJP is backing the poll body to the hilt. They have accused the Congress of hypocrisy, saying that the party is fine with Election Commission's decision when it is winning elections elsewhere, but questions the process when it doesn't suit them. BJP's Bihar leaders say this about stopping fake votes, identifying migrants, voting in 2 places, and ensuring a clean and fair elections.
आपको इस बात को सुनिश्चित करना है कि जो सही आपके वोटर हैं, सिर्फ उन लोगों को मतदान का अधिकार मिले। कई बार देखा गया है जिनका निधन हुए, दशकों बीत गए, उनके नाम पे भी पर्चियां कट रही हैं। कई बार देखा जाता है कि जो स्थानीय नहीं है उनके नाम पर भी, उनका नाम भी वोटर लिस्ट में है। तो ऐसे में एक ऐसी प्रक्रिया और जिसको जितना सरल हो सके बनाने का प्रयास किया गया, पर अगर उसके बाद भी जिस तरीके से हम लोग के पास भी अगर कोई आता है तो हम लोग पूरी तरीके से प्रशासन से बातचीत कर उसकी मदद करने का प्रयास करते हैं। मैं मानता हूं कि एक पारदर्शी ये प्रक्रिया है और जिसको आज नहीं तो कल अपनाना ही था। इस प्रोसेस का होना जरूरी है ताकि उन लोगों के साथ अन्याय ना हो जो दूसरों की वजह से इस सूची से बाहर हो जाते हैं।
So here's the bottom line. The special intensive revision is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's an attempt to modernize and sanitize Bihar's outdated voter rolls. But on the other, its timing, execution and implications for millions of migrants and the vulnerable make it a politically loaded move. Now, will it build trust or deepen suspicion? That remains to be seen.
चुनाव आयोग ने निर्णय किया था कि वो राजनीतिक दलों से लगातार समन्वय स्थापित करेगा। इसी क्रम में लगभग हर राजनीतिक पार्टी ने मतदाता सूची को अशुद्ध होने का शिकायत भी की और हर बार कहा कि मतदाता सूची को शुद्ध करना चाहिए। इसलिए इस बार बिहार में 2002 की तरह ही एक महीने के अंदर जुलाई से अगस्त के बीच में मतगणना फॉर्म बांटे जाएंगे और वापस भी लिए जाएंगे। ये कार्य बहुत सुचारू रूप से चल रहा है। सारी राजनीतिक पार्टियां इसमें सहयोग कर रही हैं।
Well, it's going to be an uphill task for the Election Commission. But to discuss this further, I'm joined by esteemed panel of guests this evening. I'm joined by Sujata Paul of the Congress Party, Arvind Kumar from the BJP, and Ajit K. Jha as a senior journalist. Good evening to all of you. Thank you for taking your time and joining me over here. I'll first go across to you, Mr. Jha. If this entire exercise seems to be fraught with the risk, why carry it out?
See, absolutely. I think this is, I think this is an insensitive Election Commission of India, which is carrying on an exercise that shouldn't have been carried. Let me give you 5 reasons. Number 1, the Lok Sabha elections was just held last year. According to Ganesh, the new Election Commissioner of India, if he thinks that the Bihar election list is filled with fraud voters, that means the Lok Sabha results were fraud. Will he accept that? Number 1. Number 2, look at the timing of it. There was a special summary revision which was done between October and January, which is always done before an election. At that time, he did not mention about the special intensive revision. Number 3, in 2003, when the special intensive revision had taken place, that was right after the 2001 census report. Once you have a census where you have a comprehensive village-to-village head count method of getting the details of every citizen, then if you carry on a special intensive revision, it makes sense. The last census in Bihar is 2011. In fact, the government has just announced census, the report of which will come out by 2026-27. They could have carried this special intensive revision during 2028 before the Lok Sabha election of 2029. Instead, they chose 1 month. The entire thing is supposed to be done in 1 month. The caste survey in Bihar took 6 months. And remember, that was not a head-to-head count method. That was just a survey. So if a caste survey takes 6 months, in fact, the agricultural survey is going on in Bihar. I had visited Bihar for 6 weeks. They keep extending the date. Now the new date, the last date was March 31st. Now the new date is 2026 December. Because the official machinery is not able to do the agricultural survey. So how can you carry on in 25 days, entire 8 crore voters, the names have to be sorted out. Finally, why are you not allowing Aadhaar card? Why are you not allowing a ration card, the ration card? Because 88% voters in the country have Aadhaar card. In fact, majority voters don't have any other document except for Aadhaar card. Maybe if they are workers, then they get a workers card, the lal card, and maybe, in this case, the ration card. None of those are allowed. Birth certificate. The other day I was arguing, I don't have a birth certificate. In fact, people above the age of 30 or 35, majority Indians don't have a birth certificate. If they have not, if I had not done my matriculation, I wouldn't have a school leaving certificate. Majority voters are illiterate. Caste certificate. The last survey tells us that only 20% scheduled castes in Bihar have caste certificate and 25% OBC. That means the majority don't have a caste certificate. Now, how do you, the entire list has things like passport. How many Biharis have a passport? It's a joke. So obviously, the election commissioner is totally arrogant. He's insensitive. He doesn't know the reality, how poor people deal with their lives. They hardly have anything other than one Aadhaar card. And now he's imposing all these documents within 25 days. When he did that, he did not consult the opposition parties. In fact, when the hullabaloo was raised, now he's talking to all of them. Think of it. A booth level officer who is appointed by a political party is given so much power that he will decide who is the citizen of India. I mean, it's shocking. It's the fundamental right of a citizen that will be denied by a booth level officer. What does the election commissioner think he's doing? He probably should go down to the booth level himself and travel in Bihar. Sitting in Delhi, he makes all this. He's just a bureaucrat who was in some other department, jumps to the election commission and takes these arbitrary decisions. I'm glad that the ADR went to the Supreme Court, and I hope the judges will listen to what this guy is doing. He's just crazy. Bihar, remember, in the past, we've had election commissioners like T.N. Session, like James Michael Lindo. In fact, Session went down to Bihar, created Dalit booths in 95. In fact, I started my, psephology at that moment. I would travel around Bihar and people thought of T.N. Session as a god. And now we have a monster. He's just the opposite of T.N. Session. He doesn't.
Well, we won't go that far, Mr. Jha, but extremely important points made over there by Ajit Kumar Jha, and you cannot refute him on any of these. But Arvind Kumar, I'll come to you next. If you do not have the basic infrastructure in place to ensure that every individual, every citizen, every voter of Bihar has got a genuinely credible document to support their identity, how can this entire special investigative revision be carried out in the first place?
So, first of all, let me permit to clarify all these issues in Hindi. अभी मैं सुन रहा था कि बिहार के जो वोटर्स हैं, दे डोंट हैव एनी वैलिड डॉक्यूमेंट्स. इट इज वेरी लाफिंग. तो बिहार के लोगों के पास डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं. देखिए, इलेक्शन कमीशन इज ए इंडिपेंडेंट बॉडी एंड वर्क जो करती है बिल्कुल इंडिपेंडेंट. उसके किसी भी क्रियाकलाप पर सवाल उठाना ये ठीक नहीं. अगर उसने कोई वर्कआउट किया है तभी वो इस तरह का प्रपोजल लाया है. और ये इट इज वेरी क्लियर कि मोस्ट ऑफ यहाँ बिहार में ज्यादातर लोग जो माइग्रेंट करके दूसरे शहरों में रह रहे हैं एंड उनका यहाँ भी वोटर लिस्ट में नाम है, वहां भी वोटर लिस्ट में नाम है. तो ये रिवीजन होता रहता है टाइम टू टाइम. इलेक्शन कमीशन रिवाइज द वोटर लिस्ट एंड वो फिर उसको फाइनल देते हैं. ड्राफ्ट पब्लिकेशन होता है. आफ्टर दैट द फाइनल वोटर लिस्ट इज पब्लिश्ड. So the draft publication होता है. If you any objection, you can.
अपनी पूरी बात कंप्लीट करने के लिए, बट मैं आपसे 1 मिनट का टाइम लूंगी कि बेशक आप कह रहे हैं कि लोगों के पास में डॉक्यूमेंट्स है, आईडी प्रूफ है, बट क्या प्रतिशत तक, कितने लोगों के पास में है? जहां तक हमारे पास डेटा है, गवर्नमेंट आईडी कार्ड, पेंशन कार्ड, केवल 1.57% ऑफ बिहारीज हैव इट एज पर द 2022 डेटा. जहां तक पासपोर्ट की बात होती है, वहां पे केवल 2% लोगों के पास में पासपोर्ट है, जहां पर 2023 का डेटा बताता है. जहां तक बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट के बारे में बात होती है तो केवल 7.13 लाख बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट्स रजिस्टर्ड एज पर 2007। तो हम ये नहीं कह रहे कि डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं है, बट कितने प्रतिशत लोगों के पास में है? क्या ये जायज है फिर कि आप ये पूरा एक्सटेंसिव एक्सरसाइज कैरी आउट करिए और इसमें इन लोगों की गिनती ही ना हो क्योंकि इनके पास वैलिड डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं है? जी चलिए अरविंद कुमार जी,
एक चीज बताइए, 70 वर्षों तक अगर चुनाव हुए हैं और वोटर लिस्ट बने हैं तो बिना वैलिड डॉक्यूमेंट्स के बने क्या? उनके पास जो गवर्नमेंट द्वारा प्रिस्क्राइब है जितने 11 और 12 टाइप ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट्स है उसमें कोई ना कोई डॉक्यूमेंट सबके पास है, ऐसा नहीं है। और इसमें क्या दिक्कत है? अगर इलेक्शन कमीशन इसको रिवाइज कर रही है, रिवीजन कर रही है, बहुत सारे वैसे वोटर हैं जो डेथ कर गए हैं लास्ट राउंड में, अगर उनको रिवाइज करके फ्रेश वोटर लिस्ट पब्लिश कर देती है तो इसमें हमें लगता है कि हमें कोई भारतीय जनता पार्टी या हमारे एनडीए गवर्नमेंट को कोई वैसा ऑब्जेक्शन नहीं है। और मोरो बीएलओ की कर रहे हैं, बीएलओ
पर ऑब्जेक्शन किसी को नहीं है जहां तक इंटेंशन की बात आती है। आपका मूल मुद्दा सही है, द इंटेंशन इज राइट, द एग्जीक्यूशन इज फ्लॉड सर, द टाइमिंग, द स्टिपुलेटेड नंबर ऑफ डेज दैट हैज बीन चोजन फॉर इट आल्सो एंड द टाइमिंग क्लोज ऑन द heels of the upcoming Bihar elections. How do you think you're going to be carrying it out? Miss Sujata Paul, you've heard what the BJP spokesperson Arvind Kumar had to say. You've also heard what Mr. Jha had to say. Now, do you agree with what Tejasvi Yadav has just said a short while ago, saying that he needs to call for a Bihar Bandh on the subject because there is a political agenda behind it than genuinely just carrying out the sanitization of the voter roll?
Samya, it is very important to understand that we live in a democracy and it is the people in whom resides the power to create, to nourish this democracy. And this creation was done, of course, 75 years back. But what is happening now is that people are going to be disenfranchised. And this is being done with a clear motive. Because if you look at what the documents entail, you will see that those people who became, who were born after 2003 or before, just before 2003, maybe they were 10 years old or something, they have seen a government which has not been able to provide jobs. They have seen a government which has, demonized the minorities, the OBCs, the SCs, the STs. And we've seen, nobody needs to deny that or agree to it. The pictures of a person, being treated as badly as somebody in, for example, in Madhya Pradesh is there for us to see when a person was urinating in his mouth. So the fact is that these people are totally against the BJP government, and that is why this is being done by the Election Commission. The Election Commission should actually be sitting in the BJP office, because the fact is that when you are talking about the documents, these are not very easy documents to find. Of course, you're right that a very small percentage has a passport, a very small percentage has land. So from where are they going to get a land allotment form? The government jobs posts have not been filled, and can you imagine how many people who are without jobs out there who want to vote out a government will not be allowed to do so because they don't have an identity card from a government authority as part of government being government employees. Now, where do they get a caste survey from? Where do they get their pension certificates from? Even those who have their votes, and there will be no problem with their votes, it is going to be difficult for them to get a pension form so fast in 25 days. It is not going to be possible for people to get, I see a whole list of them, forest rights certificate. If you go for a forest rights certificate, that also takes a lot of time. So the fact here is that seasonal migration affects about 3 crore people moving out from the state of Bihar. In northern Bihar, floods are taking place. There is a shortage of government personnel. Tell me, how are they going to complete it in 25 days? So this is clearly designed, just like my leader Rahul Gandhi has spoken about Maharashtra earlier. He has written an article about it, how people were disenfranchised, how the votes were stolen from the people and cast for the BJP. So this is exactly what the plan is. But I think This time people are speaking up, and if you look at the case which is the petition which has been filed with the Honorable Supreme Court, we are all waiting to see what happens in that, because
Yes.
the fact is that you cannot rob people of their power. And one last point, here what is happening is that the burden of proof, which should be on the state to prove that these are our people, is being shifted from the state to the citizens, which is extremely
एब्सोल्युटली। अरविंद कुमार जी, आप कुछ कहना चाह रहे थे, और मेरा आपसे यही एक सवाल रहेगा कि हर जगह गवर्नमेंट इतना ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस देती है आधार कार्ड को, जैसे अजीत कुमार झा जी पूछ रहे थे, इस पूरे डॉक्यूमेंट की जो सूची है उसमें आधार कार्ड क्यों नहीं मेंशन किया गया?
एज पर माई नॉलेज प्रिया जी, देखिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने डेट ऑफ बर्थ के लिए आधार कार्ड को वैलिड नहीं माना। ओके, इसलिए आधार कार्ड को परहैप्स इंक्लूड नहीं किया है एज पर माई नॉलेज। लेकिन उसमें जितने भी अदर्स ऑप्शन है, आप ये जान ले, बिहार में इतने वोटर, अगर 8 करोड़ वोटर अवेलेबल हैं, तो किसी न किसी डॉक्यूमेंट से ही बने हैं। वोटर बनाने के पहले भी प्रक्रिया था कि जो वैलिड गवर्नमेंट का जो डॉक्यूमेंट है वो होनी चाहिए। ये बिल्कुल पता नहीं किस अंदाज में ये लोग बोल रहे हैं कि उन लोगों के पास नहीं है। ई के लिए हमारे गांव में चल रही है, जितनी भी योजनाएं गवर्नमेंट की चल रही है, सारी योजनाओं के लिए डॉक्यूमेंट का जरूरत होना है। चाहे वो जनधन खाता खोलना हो, आप कितने करोड़ खाते खुल गए हैं, इंदिरा आवास लेना हो, गांव में पुअर है, सबके पास आइडेंटिफिकेशन है, कहीं कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। और अगर वैसे दिक्कत आएगी तो उनके बारे में तो चुनाव आयोग को रिप्रेजेंटेशन दिया जाएगा, हम लोग भी देंगे। हम लोग खुद चाहते हैं कि वैसे वोटर कोई भी एक
आप यहाँ पे बोल रहे हैं कि दिक्कत नहीं है, बट दिक्कत जो है इस डेटा में है जो हमारे पास आ रही है कि कितने परसेंटेज लोगों के पास में ये सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं जो आपकी सूची से मैच करते हैं, और हमारा सिर्फ इतना ही मिनिमम क्वेश्चन होता है कि आधार कार्ड को क्यों नहीं बेस बनाया गया? आधार कार्ड के जरिए भी काफी बेनिफिशियरीज है गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स के। आई हैव पॉसिटी ऑफ टाइम, बट आई रिक्वेस्ट मिस्टर अजीत कुमार झा, सर, मिस्टर झा, when and massive exercise this is carried out, questions are going to be raised that why could it not wait for the census to be carried out, like you were mentioning as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, that is why what the Congress spokesperson said, that the entire thing looks as if there is a conspiracy. That's my exact argument. And not only Aadhaar card, ration card is not being counted. Now, everyone in the villages have a ration card because they go and buy, rice or wheat or whatever, sugar. That is not being taken into account. Number 3, the Manrega card, on the base of which people get jobs. More than, I think 60% Biharis are basically workers working in agricultural laborers. They all rely on Manrega cards. None of these 3 documents is being taken into consideration. What is being asked? Birth certificate. I who have, I have had, by Bihari standards, I've had an elite education. I don't have a birth certificate. How can they expect people in the villages to have birth certificate? Majority kids are born not in hospitals but at homes. So where do they get a birth certificate? In every certificate you need, even a death certificate in Bihar, you have to pay a bribe. So think of it. I mean,
Mr. Jha, like you were mentioning, I have some data over here that as per 2007, only 7.13 lakh birth certificates were registered, which was only 1/4 of the actual births. I have paucity of time, but I'd thank all our esteemed panel of guests for taking our time and joining me this evening on this very important subject, how this entire exercise of a revision of the voters' roll is going to have an impact on the Bihar election. We shall wait to see that. Sujata Paul, Arvind Kumar and Ajit Kumar Jha, thank you for taking your time and joining us here. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the broadcast. Lots more lined up. Stay tuned and keep watching News9.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9. English news as it should be.